Many volunteer fire departments struggle to attract enough members to handle all the calls that come their way. And it's not uncommon for many of those fire departments to have several members approaching retirement age. So it was interesting to hear that a program that has been in place for many years at the Arlington Fire Department has lately attracted more junior firefighters, youngsters between the ages of 14 and 18, than they have equipment for. To find out what had brought an unusually large influx of young firefighters into their junior program, we met up with Arlington Fire Chief Michael King, along with two of the members of their junior program, Patrick Murphy and Hunter King.
Junior firefighters, I was a junior firefighter when I was 14, so you're talking back, I'm not going to say how many years ago, but it's been going on for quite a while in the town of Arlington. I was a junior. I became a full member when I was 18. The juniors kind of faded away, and then every now and then we'd have a couple, and then they'd go to college or move on with their lives. But the past 2 years, 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, Cooper Jennings joined, and then Patrick, I believe, was after Cooper, and then since then it's just blown up. We actually had to cap it because I don't have enough equipment to give them. We have more kids that want to join, but we don't have the equipment to give them right now.
So how many kids are in the program?
Right now we have 9.
Right, okay. So the maximum number you could have based on the equipment would be, what, 4 or 5?
Well, we were going to cap it at 10, but once we even got to 9, I realized we're running short on gear, and I can't short the regular members. I got to have some stuff just in case, somebody's gear gets gas on it or any hazardous material. I got to have some extra for them to be able to use. So,
Right.
so that's what we capped. We capped it at 9. Once it hit 9, when we get more turnout gear, we're going to let a couple more juniors join. We just have to try to figure out how to entertain so many of them.
So what do you think explains this sudden upsurge in interest in being in the junior program if for a long time it was fewer than 9 or so people, and now all of a sudden you're bursting at the seams?
I'm not sure. I mean, for me, it's easy because he's my son. For Patrick, his dad wasn't in the fire department. It's just something he decided he wanted to do. Patrick's cousin joined. It's just a bunch of the guys that these guys hang out with, and other kids too, that they just all of a sudden wanted to do it. And we're all for it. There's not an entrance exam. They fill out an application just like everyone else does. They do have their own set of bylaws against what the actual firemen have, what they're allowed to do, what they can't do. It's all for their safety. Almost 90% of it's for their safety. We also have to entertain the real firemen come first. So like these guys know if they get here and they get in the passenger seat of the truck and a full-fledged fireman wants their seat, they have to give it up. But we have a SUV down there that they can ride in or they can catch the next truck. And that's just one of the rules that they have to go by.
So they go out on calls if they're free, if a fire happens or some kind of situation?
Yeah, they have to come here and get their gear. They have to try to catch the truck or show up a little later. However, we don't want them first on scene. Especially motor vehicle accidents, because it's just a very hairy situation or a very fine line having young kids be the first on scene. But they're allowed to go to everything. It's just what roles they can fill while they're there. And that's why the juniors have their own training night. November 10th, they're going to start a basic firefighters course. It's a Vermont state course, but we're going to teach it in-house. And we have actually 4 or 5 adult members that are going to be taking it as well, that need to take it as well. So they'll start learning early.
So Hunter, I guess I have an idea as to how you wound up getting into this, but do you want to, did you always kind of think that you'd want to be part of the fire department in some way or another? Or?
Yeah. My dad was a firefighter, and I went to quite a few calls with him when I wasn't on. So when I turned 14, I joined.
And Patrick, what?
I always had the thought back in my mind, and then it kind of just was like, oh, I'll try it out. And then once I tried it out, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I stuck with it.
So you got a lot of your friends interested in it? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, it's kind of just like the talk, like if we went to school or hung out, they're like, oh, it sounds fun or whatever. So then we got them to join. So then it just kept going on and on.
So what happens on your training nights? You come over here, what is it, once a week or something like that, or more often?
Usually once or twice a month.
Oh, okay.
It used to be Tuesday nights, but now for junior drill, it's Thursday nights.
So you kind of, go through, you practice what would you have to do if you were out on a call or on a fire?
Most of the time it's something along real life situations.
So it sounds like there were more of your contemporaries, your peers, interested in this than maybe there was at some point in the past. Is there anything in particular that kind of
I think probably just talking about it made them want to join or something to do, or better than just sitting at home. So,
because as I'm sure you know, there's, I guess, a kind of a shortage of volunteer fire department around the state.
Every department in the country is hurting for fire personnel.
And why is that, do you think? Is it simply because like nowadays there are more folks that they have a harder time getting away from work during the day, or I've also heard the amount of training that's required.
The training is extensive. If you want to be a full-fledged interior firefighter, you're looking at 220 hours, your first class.
Is that over a course of a year?
It's over a course of 6 to 8 months. The last one they did local was in Manchester. We have 2 members right now taking it in Rutland Town. So they're traveling to Rutland City, twice a week to get into the Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2 class. But that's as close as we're going to get it this year, so they had no options.
And do you have to take a certain amount of training, even if you're already kind of like a qualified firefighter? And you keep the certification up or something?
Yeah, if you're interior, you have to make a minimum 24 hours of training. You have to train in hazmat, or that's actually to keep your Firefighter 1 certification. You minimum 24 hours of training, and then you have to do hazmat. You have to do bloodborne pathogens. You have to do SCBA quarterlies, and a few other things. If the training's getting out of hand, but it's legalities. You have to be trained to do this stuff. They keep throwing more into it. Like it used to be when I took it was 72 hours, and we pumped with trucks. We lit fires in a controlled area, of course. We messed with ladders. Now they go into some of the history of firefighting. They get into hazmat awareness, hazmat operations, rope, technical rescue, which all those courses before were separate. But now they're intertwining them all into one main course.
Well, so boys, you think you're going to hang around and become senior firefighters?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, I'm going to.
So you have to learn all the medical stuff as well as how to put out a house on fire and everything?
I think there's some medical stuff as well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can put them through all the training, and they can, if they do Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, if they got into EMS training as well, we can put them through the training that they can actually become paid firemen somewhere. They just have to want to do it.
Volunteer fire departments have been important bedrocks in many Vermont communities over the decades. Concerns about keeping their staffing levels up to speed have been often voiced in recent years, as the modern demands of work make it harder for them to retain people. But maybe something might be changing. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.